So what do you do? What's involved in your role?
I'm part of a team called the Service Leadership Team. It's not a very usual name for a department. You probably can't find a service leadership team elsewhere. You can find an operation, accounts team, or IT. So there are 3 pillars in our team, mainly service standard, service revenue, and instill culture. So my teammates are scattered all over the place in Singapore, Australia, Shanghai, and they focus more on like processes, SOPs, service revenue. I focus more on the instilling culture part where I'm a corporate coach. I also run a mentorship program in TEC. I'm part of the wellness committee at head office, and but mainly I support our operation heads in North APAC, such as yourself. So I usually call myself like a TEC hotline where people will call me up, right? And ask, Joe, who is the virtual office manager in Shanghai? Who is the accountant in Australia? You know, if I want this training, where can I find it? Can you provide this training to us? So it can be anything, you know, each day, but in general, providing that support for our operation heads.
Great.
And so, you know, not a lot of people know this, but we knew each other before the executive.
That's right. So we knew each other in the previous firm.
Yes.
And now, amazingly, we're working as partners, as you from HQ, and taking care of operation heads in North APAC, including myself. And also you have been my coach since 2017. I hope you're not bothered as you're always the go-to person when I have something to ask for advice or to discuss. So having said that, can you actually explain what's the difference between training, mentoring, and coaching?
Yes, and training is between a trainer and trainees. So a trainer usually is a person, let's say in a training session, trainer is a person who says, okay, today this is the topic. So for example, today I'm going to train about service revenue. I'm going to train about upselling. And trainer in general do most of the talking, you know, telling you what to do, giving you advice is very direct. Whereas maybe in the end of a training session, the trainee would ask questions. So I would say like the trainer probably speaks 80 to 90% of the time. In mentorship, it's where a mentor usually someone that's more experienced, someone who has more skillful, has more resources. That person would partner with the mentee. But in a mentor session, a mentee should be the person coming up with the topic. Let's say they want to know about how do you deal with team conflict? How do you deal with time management, find a balance between work-life? And the mentor, it's usually that person who would share their expertise and ideas and experience with the mentee. And I would say that the mentor would probably talk about 80% of the time, 70 to 80% of the time, giving advice, giving suggestions to the mentee. In coaching, the coachee, just like the mentee, would be the person coming up with a topic. Let's say, you know, I want to get better at public speaking. I want to, you know, feel more confident and be able to speak up in a meeting or something like this. So a coach is not someone who provides the answer like a mentor does to a mentee. It's more through thought-provoking questions and help the coachee find the answers for themselves. At the Executive Center, I am the only certified coach, but we have over 30 mentors in TEC. And they're scattered all over the place with different backgrounds, from different departments, different expertise. Whereas a lot of people think that it's just me and my counterpart in Singapore that we're the only trainers in TEC, but everybody in TEC is a trainer. You yourself as a trainer, an engagement manager is a trainer, a senior BD is a trainer to a junior BD, IT, head office, and now with our community team, like we have these webinars, right? So you're basically learning how do you up your game in like LinkedIn? You know, how do you work on your EQ and stuff like that? So all these are part of learning and training. So I would say like everybody in TEC is a trainer. So I've been your coach for 3 years now, since 2017. How does coaching benefit you?
I think coaching really provides me with an open and safe platform to discuss various things, be it work-related or personal, and to verbalize my thoughts and to gain clarity. Most importantly, I'm not told what to do.
Yeah.
It's more like a guided journey for me to seek my own answers and to raise awareness so that I can I'm forced to face certain issues which I'm not aware, and to find my ways to reach my own goal.
Yeah, I think you raised a really important point about coaching is not to provide answers for you. Like as a coach, my expertise is not in sales or operation or IT. So that's why I'm able to coach people from different backgrounds, different departments, from different regions, because my expertise is in coaching. Coaching is a partnership between two people where, as a coach, I provide an open, safe environment for people to have an open dialogue, help them verbalize a thought. Because sometimes most of the times when you think of something in your head, it sounds very different from when you actually say it out loud. I've actually got quite a lot of coachees who would say, that sounds different from my head. I want to change. Just having that opportunity for them to say things out loud, to speak their mind, that would actually help them have that realization, and that I think that's really, really powerful. It's also through a structured, thought-provoking questions for people to raise awareness, self-discover. A lot of people the number one step to a lot of issues is actually awareness. And a lot of people think that maybe, I don't know why, but I don't have the confidence to speak it up in a meeting. They think it's because of one thing, but the cause of the problem can be something else. Right. Someone recently said to me, gave me a feedback about coaching, and I thought that was really interesting, is that they said, through coaching, it helps them become more proactive. And I asked them why, because we had, I think, about 2 coaching sessions, and she said that because of coaching, it got her thinking outside of the coaching session, and it made her more proactive in terms of thinking about work or life-related things. And she was able to articulate herself better when she was communicating with her teams. And because she felt being able to give her teams more clear directions, her teams are better able to understand what the common goal is. They're also able to ask relevant questions, and she feels that through that, it's increased the effectiveness of communication. And she felt that she's more confident, she's more content, and overall increase her productivity. And I was like, okay, yeah, you need to record this so people know what coaching is about. Yeah,
that's right.
So we talked about how coaching benefits you. Then how do you apply what you've learned in coaching to your role as a leader?
So I manage a team of managers. Sometimes when there are issues, it's very easy and tempting for me to just tell them what to do to fix the issue as a quick fix. But obviously, you know that that's not ideal. The most ideal way would be to coach them through for them to find their own answers, because I would not be around all the time to provide them answers. Yeah. That's the sort of growth mindset I like to cultivate amongst my teams. So the drawback for this is taking a lot more time and effort for you to coach the team than to tell them what to do. And also the prerequisite, it's the team have to receive some sort of basic trainings and knowledge on standard operating procedures before they could try to reach their own answers. So, Jo, how did you decide to become a professional coach? And how does being a coach and mentor impact you?
To be really honest, I didn't intend to become a coach. Because Chris,
it's an accident.
Yeah, it is actually. Because my boss Chris, he was saying, okay, take a course that can benefit the rest of the teams, and I was thinking, okay, that was like 3 years ago, and I thought I want to take a train-the-trainer course, because I feel that because all our teams are trainers, right? But not all of us are good at training. We might be good at what we're doing, but not how to teach people. And I thought if I can learn how to train the trainers, we can make all different people become better trainers, And so I took a course in coaching, and I thought that was the same as training, and that's why I thought it was important to talk about the difference between coaching, training, and mentoring. And the first session I went into the coaching training, the coach said, coaching is not about providing solutions for people, and I think it's that much more powerful to use that for our teams to cultivate a growth mindset. Because like you mentioned earlier, we can't always be there for our teams. You can't sit next to them and give them a solution. And if we want to expand as a company, we need to make sure that we cultivate this growth mindset that our teams are able to find their own answers by empowering them, right? Giving them opportunities to make decisions. And so I decided, it was a right course to take. But there are lots of coaches out there they might take like a 5-hour training and call themselves a coach. So I would recommend anyone who don't come to me for coaching, look up the credential of the coach that you're looking to hire or go with. Because, for example, I went with the ICF, the International Coach Federation in US, and so we have to go through a minimum 500 hours of coaching.
Wow.
I've done up 800 hours now.
Wow.
So, and you had to do like an online exam. There's like a mentor trainee session where the mentor, my trainer would actually like assess me. There's also like another session where I have to coach someone, and my trainer would be next to me with a checklist, making sure I'm checking off every single thing and doing things the right way. It's kind of like a driving test where you're not just driving, you have to check, take off every checkpoint or most of the checkpoints. So that was quite daunting. And so that actually gives me more confidence in my own credential, because I feel like I've gone through hurdles to get to where I am. It wasn't just like a 2-hour training course, and how it impacts me, I would have to say that being a coach and learning the skills of, coaching has really impacted me in every aspect of my life. As a mother, as a friend, as a wife, my husband would probably tell you that, as a leader. I used to think I'm a really good listener because I have a bit of a natural gift where people tend to come to me. I'm easy to talk to, as I've been told. So I've always thought I was a good listener. But what I found out after becoming a coach is that I was a terrible listener. Because when someone comes to me with an issue, right, naturally at the back of my mind, immediately I'm thinking, yep, how can I relate to this? Have I experienced this? What's the solution? And I think of what works for me rather than listening to that person, being present for that person. And if someone says something that I can't relate to, I actually tend to shut off, because I feel like, just snap out of it, be positive, just get on with life kind of thing. But becoming a coach, I feel that I'm more, I can empathize with people better. I have more of an open mind. I understand that just because someone has a different point of view from me, it doesn't make them wrong. It makes them different. It makes them unique. It also helps me become less judgmental. You are also a mentee. Right? Yes. So you joined our pilot program, and in the beginning we had 3 mentors. It was like Chris, Todd, and Daryl, and you had Todd, and you've been like, I think you went through mentorship program with him for
maybe year. 1.5 years, something like that, because sometimes we're missing lessons.
Yes. How was your experience?
Not missing lessons, missing sessions. It's not a lesson, okay?
Yeah.
So I get to be exposed to people that are very different, not from operations, maybe from HQ or from different job functions, and that really helped broaden my horizons. Especially, I can understand more rationale behind some implementations, say from HQ. I can see things from a corporate perspective instead of just a local focus. I think that's very important. And as you know, Todd and I had a fixed mentoring session, and so we got to meet each other for an hour per month. And he's a super nice and friendly guy. And we got to establish a very good business relationship and very trustable. So I can be really honest with him on my challenges at work and to share with him. I always feel so echoed when I can share with him honestly on my challenges at work. And that feeling of being heard is so important to me. So that actually gives me courage to be more dedicated at work.
I think you mentioned a really important point about being heard, because studies have shown that people who feel that their voices have been heard are 4.6 times more likely to perform their best work. And 88% of productivity is increased because of mentoring and training versus only 24% of training. And that just goes to show how important these mentoring programs are. At the Executive Center, we have like over 30 mentors in there from completely different backgrounds, from function heads to operation heads such as yourself, city heads. It could be someone from head office in Hong Kong, someone in Australia, everybody, there's with different, like they can speak different languages, so it caters to all the different team members that we have, and they just have so many mentors that they can choose from and find one that suits them. And credit also actually goes to our Australia team, because it actually started in Australia by Josh, Say, and Dan. When I found out that they were running that program in Sydney, I was thinking, this is amazing. And they were really supportive with the pilot program, and help with like the logistics and things like that for the mentorship program. So I just really think that this is something that should be rolled out across the network, and now it has been.
Great, so you made it. Yes. Finally, like we have this mentoring and coaching program. I think that's really good. And so it shows a lot that TEC is willing to invest in its own people, because I think nothing is more important than people in a company. So there's a lot that you can do, replicate, like the hardware, software, but it's people that can't be replicated. And that's the greatest assets in a company, I think. But the thing is, the effectiveness from these programs are very hard to be quantified or measured. Studies show that like there could be like many factors that's leading to the change result. Might not be directly from coaching. It's not like sales, which once a lead comes in, you close that sales, and then the workstations and also SRL, those are all measurable. Right. But coaching and mentoring, these things, I think it's kind of hard to measure, right?
I absolutely agree with you. One of the things with is presenteeism, right, that people struggle with, and that really affects productivity of our teams. What that means is like someone is at work, but they're not. Yeah. Their mind is elsewhere. It could be something like they're worried about their cat at home. They're worried about just something that's not right there. How do you measure that, right? So presenteeism, as you rightly mentioned just now, efficiency, effectiveness, productivity. Sure, you can measure a trend. How many people that's been in the mentorship program got promoted? How many people that has been in that's been coached, got a PR score of over whatever, right? But equally, these are very indirect correlation, and it's very, very hard to pinpoint and measure. Like you said, like a workstation. You can sell 100 workstation this month, and then 50 workstation next month. And you can really, it's quantified, it's easily quantified. Whereas these programs are very, very difficult to measure. And I think it says something about the executive center, where it's really willing to invest, not just in coaching and mentoring, but also in head office. We have like a 2-month internship program. And also like we have wellness in head office as well. I just think that especially during difficult market and difficult time right now, for our company to invest so much into these things that's very difficult to measure, that's not really revenue. It's not about numbers and revenue generating. It really says about something about the company and how much it cares about its people. You mentioned earlier on, just now about like, people are our assets, and you're exactly right. I feel that, anyone with funding, with a lot of capital, sure, you can rent a grade A building in a central business district. You can buy the best IT, the nicest, latest laptops, fastest internet. You can copy our design here, but you can't copy our people. Our people are our assets, exactly like you said, and they are the people, our people are what differentiates TC from other players in the industry. And I feel that as we expand, as we try and, go through 2020, which is a very difficult year, it makes it that much more important that we focus on our people.
So nowadays people are so busy and are so indulged in work. But I think if you're willing to set aside 1 hour per month, right, to step back and review what you've been doing and where you are at, and so you know, to the goal that you're looking for, where you're at, and how far you're from that goal, so as to readjust your focus to see how you can reach your goal. So Jo, you've been in TEC for around 8 years already, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Wow. What keeps you motivated?
I think in any role that you do, you have to keep learning. I think once you stop learning, it's when you need to look elsewhere. My job itself has really evolved over the past 8 years. I would say the first 2 to 3 years was really focused on processes and training materials, because when I first joined, we didn't have an online portal for our teams. We were using like printed SOPs like Bibles. And so in Hong Kong, Singapore, Seoul, we'll all have different versions. So the first few years we're really going through all these things with my counterpart and putting it online. And then it was on service revenue. You know, at that time, I think that was before you joined, operation heads didn't even realize there was service revenue and what's a breakdown of service revenue. So it was a lot of educating and things, creating awareness around that, training. But my role has really evolved now to from processes and numbers to people focus. So, you know, coaching and mentoring, wellness and stuff like that. Every time it's just different. Like last week, I was presenting a passion project run by Dasha, you know, in head office, where I could share my passion with people, and we're going to have this on a monthly basis, you know, and that was my first time ever sharing that publicly. I was recording a video, you know, with Matt and Matilda, you know, about like mentorship program. Yesterday, I was set and I was listening to the interns talk about the projects that they were doing, you know, for different departments of head office that I never would have, you know, understood or, you know, learn about it. And that's really interesting to learn what other departments are up to, what plans they might have, potential projects they might have, you know. And today we are sat here doing this video.
Yay.
So it's constantly new things, you know, within TEC. I also feel that, you know, with my direct boss, Chris, we have an open and honest dialogue, and I feel very safe. Telling him how I feel about my work, you know, the projects that I have on hand, and if I have any challenges. And as an Asian, as a female, as a mother, I feel that at TEC we have equal opportunities. I never feel like because of who I am that, you know, I can't get to a certain, you know, position. You know, is the flexibility in TEC allows you to do that. You have an idea, and if it makes sense and you have a proper roadmap, you have a proper plan, you can run with it. And that's the beauty of working here. It can sometimes be frustrating because there's lots of new ideas, you know, bouncing around, but at the same time, that's how we evolve. That's why we stay relevant. All in all, I feel that I'm listened to, I'm valued, and I feel that what I do makes a difference.